Hello, hello. Today I'm going to show how I made these cute containers into candles. Okay, so I had all this stuff from when I owned Create Studios. I have all this, my candle and soap instructions. I have all my wicks, my wax melter. I have all the things I need, scents and colors. Hopefully these are all still good. So I'm gonna make these ones into candles. These are just things Jordan painted. So I'm gonna make them into little candles since I found them, and they could be like my overflow wax if I measure wrong. Because I found these, they were like pre-measured bags of wax for a tall mason jar. So I gotta measure how much water goes into each of these containers so I could see how much wax I need to melt. But let's get started. So pouring the water in to the level that I want these so that I can figure out how many ounces of soy wax I need. So this one I'm gonna fill up where I want the candle, and then I'm gonna pour it back so I can see how many ounces it is, and then you calculate it by 0.86 to know how much flake you need to melt down to fill it to this. Okay, now I know how many ounces each one takes, and I can dry out my container so we can set the wicks. Now the wicks are different sizes, and that makes them burn. Like the bigger the wick, the more they burn outwards. The smaller the wick, the smaller the container. So for these large ones, I'm actually gonna set 2 in there just because I like how that looks. And then for these ones that aren't super wide, I'm just gonna do 1 in the center. And then these hold your wicks. You can also do like a cotter pin on the top to pull them tight, but they'll look like this when you set them. Okay, so each of these bags was measured out for a different size jar for like a smaller mason jar. So now I'm just gonna measure out what I need and put it in my melter. So I've got this little Presto pot, And what's cool about this is you turn it on, and when you need it to stop, you can just unplug this part. So it's kind of a cool little safety feature if your hands are busy and you just need to get the heat off really quick. So we're gonna set this, I'm just gonna set it to 200 right now to kind of get it started heating up. And then we want to measure out the wax. So for all the containers, it looks like I'm gonna need 43 ounces of melt. And each of these should be about 5.4. So let's see what I have enough for. So this is about 15. Try to get it close to 15 so I can have easy calculating. Just gonna pour it in here and I'll show you in a minute to melt. So we've got 15. So I'm gonna need about 3 of these bowls. Dried out in containers, and while this is melting, I'm gonna get my wicks ready and my scents ready, and maybe colors. I'm not sure if I want to do colored wax yet or if I'm just gonna leave it white because it dries well. So that's 30. So if I do 3 of these, that'll be 45 ounces. That'll be perfect with a little bit extra for my extra container. So glad I still have all this candle making stuff. I knew I'd want to do it again someday, so I kept it. Okay, that's 14.2. I'm just going to throw in a little extra. I'd rather make an extra candle than have not enough wax. Add all this in. I'll show you what it looks like as it's melting. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's melting. Those are all, this is soy wax. I've got it set to 200. This is that little safety feature I was telling you about. Just nice. And then this one has a pour spout. So you can just measure out, like easily measure out how much you need into your measuring cups. Okay, now I'm gonna set my wicks in all my containers. These are little wick stickers. And then we have a bunch of 6-inch wicks. So that way they're tall enough to go in there. And they're size 8, 10, and 14. And I think you could tell the difference, like, between the 10, well, maybe you can't, but the 10 is much smaller than the 14, so those will burn wider. So this may be wrong, I don't know, but in my wider ones that I'm going to do 2 wicks, I'm going to do 2 10s, and then in these ones single wick, I'm going to do just a 14. So hopefully that's correct. I'm not a candle maker by trade, just something fun I wanted to do, something different. So I think that'll be nice. I have these spaced like that. These stickers are pretty strong. Just want to make sure they're actually going to stick up because you want them to burn nicely. So it's not going to stick. I think these are the wrong ones. They must be. Trying to get it as close to center as possible. So you want your candle evenly burning. So now I have everything set up with my little scents next to them. This one's gonna be my extra one that gets coffee scent. This one I've got gardenia. This one is apple cider. This one's gonna be Fruit Loops. And this one's gonna be pear. So I've got my measuring cups with the mark there. The red mark is how much wax I'm gonna need for each one poured out of here. So you take it out of here at 200 degrees into your measuring cup. You add your scent, stir it up when it's about 170, and then you can pour in till it dry and set. So we're gonna do that next. So first I have this little heat gun. I'm gonna check and make sure my pot's 200. And then second one, actually. this cools down a little bit, then I can put in my scent. The less liquid you have in there, the faster it's going to cool down. So I'm going to do my bigger ones first, because that gives me more time. Only thing that sucks about this melter is like the spout isn't fully at the bottom. So to get the remainder, you usually have to tip it down to get everything out of it. And this one's almost ready. I'm mixing in the one with Fruit Loops. That's the best part, adding your scents. Gotta remember which is which. Don't remember. Okay, so you let it cool to 145 before you pour it in the jar. And then after it sits for a while, then you use these to cut your wick. So this lets it go down to where you need it to and then snip it off. This one's apple cider. Mix that in. The scent was a little bit of a different color, so hopefully that doesn't change the color of the candle, but if this color doesn't really mix in, I have some colors. Maybe I'll make this pink. I do have some colors that are like seeping through the bag. So I'm actually gonna change this one to maybe like pink. Hopefully this doesn't dye my hands. Let's see. Takes very little to change the color on this. I like it to be like a nice pink color, not red. So it'll match the outside. Oops, might have put too much. This one. Let's get the green. Probably gonna dye my hair. Let's see if that comes This one I'm definitely gonna leave white because it's purple inside, so it'll look nicer. I don't have a nice color that would look good in there, so I don't want to wreck it. This one's ready for scent. This one's gonna be pear. So strong. Cereal. And flowers. Well, this one's red, so we'll see how it dries. Hopefully pink. And then while these are getting ready to cool, I'll do my last one, which is gardenia. This one's only 200 milliliters, so it's gonna cool a lot faster. Yeah, it's already ready. It's gardenia scent. I had the pot on warm, but there's not a lot in there. One's ready to pour, so make sure my wicks are where I want them. You could see it was red. Apple cider. Hopefully dries pink. And then to clean it out, you have to melt the wax that dries in there just with a heat gun. Might be able to wipe them out right now. The apple cider one smells Christmassy. This one's ready. Oh, my measurement was wrong on that one. Let's see if I can add more wax and fix that. I'm just going to put the rest in this container. Like I said, I'm not exactly a candle maker, but I know enough to make it work. So now that will hopefully dry like a light orange to go with the design on the outside. Set my wicks. I had extra scent in that one too, so that might actually be good. It smells so good. Pear. And it's pretty clear going in, so I'm thinking it's gonna dry pretty white. Which will look really nice. Fix my wicks. I love that. So this little container, my son painted. So maybe it'll be like a nice little grandma gift. Or just of this wax in here, and I have some coffee scent for that one, just to use up the remainder. What's also cool about wax is if you don't get all of it out, you don't use it, it just dries up in the bottom of this pot, and use it next time. This one's gonna be kind of shallow, but that's okay. That was intended to be my extras anyways. That's it.